You are now listening to the Pelicans Postgame Report. Flash Report.
For all things Pelicans, you're now tuned into the Pelican Postgame Report. Much love to the fam. Appreciate y'all coming at y'all with this episode of PPR Flash. Might be a little longer than our traditional Flash reports, but I wanted to touch down and talk about a few topics of discussion in terms of the Pelicans. Please feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and by all means, feel free to share the show on your social media feed. PPR in the building. I'm Big Q. Shout out to Lex NDC, my dog. Appreciate y'all for being in this chat, man, as we get ready to get going. Y'all hit the like button for me. If you're not a subscriber, smash it. Smash that subscribe button, man. It's free. It won't cost you a dime. Anyway, let's get into it, man. Pelicans did, man, sent out some news yesterday that they inked second round pick guard Antonio Reeves to a 3-year deal, putting him on the squad. He showed up in G League, man, a little shaky early on, but Antonio Reeves showed that he's a smart basketball player who can shoot the ball, could be a asset for the Pelicans. So we'll see how it all goes, man. Moving anyway. Shout out to Rail Wright, contributor on the WhoDatDaily.com. Y'all lock that in. Pelicans and guard Antonio Reeves have agreed to a 3-year deal at $4.41 million, solidifying a commitment to the young talent. He was drafted 47th overall by the Magic in 2024 NBA draft and was acquired by the Pelicans. That pick was anyway. And Reeves showcased his potential in summer league, averaging almost 12 points a game, 2.4 rebounds, 1.6 on the assists, and 1 steal per contest. So that was a good move by the Pels. With 14 standard contracts on the roster, the Pelicans are confident in Reeves' ability to contribute significantly. Reeves' collegiate career saw him excel at Illinois State before transferring to Kentucky, where he averaged over 20 points a game, 4 rebounds on some efficient shooting as well. So the Pelicans bring him into the fold. Shout out to Antonio Reeves. And maybe the Pelicans could have, make that second round draft pick thing work for us. You know what I mean? We had Herb Jones, who was a second round draft pick. We got Carlo Mekovic on the deal now, who's a second round draft pick. And now Antonio Reeves, who's a second round draft pick. So our second rounders, man, maybe they can provide some good depth value for us and potentially maybe a starting piece down the line, man. Who knows? But anyway, we haven't heard yet on Yves Missi. I'm pretty sure that'll be coming up very soon. But congratulations to Antonio Reeves for getting his deal with the Pelicans, man. Much love. All right, anyway, let's jump into this one, man, and talk about some stuff here. This is from Hoop Rumors. It was making a comment about Pelican shooting guard Jordan Hawkins departed the last game of Summer League. He had an ankle injury, but just to let y'all know, if y'all didn't hear, the x-rays on the ailment were negative, as Kirsten Clark of Times-Picayune did say that. He's the 14th pick out of UConn back first round last year, averaged just under 8 points a game during his rookie year. So just a little talking point to talk about that with Jordan Hawkins. Also, to kind of talk about, bring this up too, this is Evan Siddery, who kind of dropped this little tidbit, came across my wire. He's an NBA guy for Forbes. With the NBA set to discuss potential expansion within the next few months, conference realignment will become a discussion point. Las Vegas and Seattle are heavy favorites, which means one current team would be moved to the Eastern Conference. The Grizzlies, Pelicans, and Timberwolves become the most realistic options. So there you go. Y'all let me know in the comment section how y'all feel about this. I knew, like with Commissioner Silva, what they were focused with moving forward was the fact that they really wanted to kind of get past a few things. And when they got this new $76 billion TV deal situation, because they had to get the CBA situation cleared away. Now they got the television deal cleared away. And with that expanded revenue and all that out of the way, now they're looking at expansion for the first time in a very long time. So a lot of the people who remember, the last 2 teams that expanded, man, this will be actually fun as the NBA adds 2 more teams. Now, we knew that they've been beefing up Las Vegas for a long time. Las Vegas is definitely going to get an NBA team, and Seattle is going to get their team back. The hang up with Seattle was the arena situation. They've got that out of the way. And Seattle, that's why they kind of kept the Sonic term. So this could be some big stuff over the next couple of weeks with Las Vegas and Seattle getting named potentially, and they leaking it out, kind of a little sub leak there. It's letting you know that Vegas and Seattle are the teams, 2 of the teams that the league will expand to. And they're very popular markets, Las Vegas and Seattle. So which guys do you think will end up moving to the East? I mean, if you look at it, right, which team is the farther East team? Is it Minnesota, the Timberwolves? I'm thinking like the Grizzlies. But would it be interesting if the Pelicans were moved to the East? Imagine what that would look like. How fair would that be for the Pelicans to get out of the West and into the Eastern Conference? How about that shit? That would be pretty fun. I mean, that might do some stuff. We won't have all of them stiff teams in the way, but then we got to get past Milwaukee, which I think that we eventually could. You got New York that's building up to something. You got a few teams there. Boston that's going to be a contender. Miami, we got something. We beat them last time, so. But it would be cool if the Pels were in the Eastern Conference, man. It'd be a lot easier on it, that's for sure. Anyway, let's move on to the final topic of discussion. And this one right here, it talks about the depth chart. So shout out to Christian Clark from the NOLA.com or the Pelicans website. And he kind of dropped this article I read the other day. David Griffin says Pelicans are likely to play it out. And this is what the depth chart could look like. And somebody put this on my desk, and I just wanted to share it with you guys. Ingram got the 1 year. We talked about this on the last show, but after that, the value is unclear. Ingram and Reps are seeking an extension that will pay him 30% of the Pelican salary cap, the largest amount he could possibly receive, which would amount to about $50 million annually. The Pelicans have not put such a whopper-sized deal on the table. It doesn't seem like they will do it anytime soon. This is what Griffin had said. There's a financial reality to this, and where I think we can go in terms of keeping this group together, blah, 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 blah. But the Pelicans still have more than 2 months to change their roster before training camp. But the purpose of this exercise, let's assume they do play it out as Griffin implied. And I don't think he's BSing on that. I think David Griffin ultimately will choose to play it out. I don't think he pulls the trigger on if a deal presents itself, but then again, he kind of slides all the time on different things. Talked about they were working on deals, but then they really didn't have any motivation to trade for him, which would explain their lack of what's the word I'm looking for? Their lack of desire to move him when deals were present early on when the value of Brandon Ingram was hot. Like I said, there were trades out there, but they turned them down. Here's some thoughts on what the team depth chart might look like next season. Starters: Murray, Jones, Ingram, Zion Williamson, and Daniel Tice. Now, if you look at that, we talked about that before. That is exactly the lineup we mentioned on several shows about we like the DeJounte Murray, Herb Jones backcourt. B.I. obviously will be in the starting lineup with Zion Williamson and Daniel Tice, the veteran. So that's really interesting. Murray, Ingram, Williams are locks to be in the starting lineup. The other two spots are for debate. Jones, who in May was named NBA's 5 best defender, gets denied here. So this Tice, the only true center on the roster who has actually played NBA minutes. The obvious concern with the group is the lack of outside shooting. Murray was the only player in the potential 5-man lineup who attempted threes at a high volume last season. He launched 7 per game, the 28th most in the NBA. The 201 or threes Murray knocked down represented a huge growth for a player who made a total of 18 3-pointers in his first 2 NBA seasons. So he developed the 3-point shooting touch. That's just part of his game. Ingram then attempted the second most threes last season of the players in the starting lineup, which is 3.8 triples he got up per game a year ago, ranked 146 among NBA players. Ingram could help alleviate some of the Pelican spacing issues by attempting more threes. He did it early in his tenure. Can he access that part of his game again after 3 straight seasons of being heavily reliant on tough twos under Willie Green? That's the question mark. The issue is, and the answer is, I think he does. And the reason why I think he does is that imagine if Ingram did launch more threes and increased his 3-point shooting in this new system. Wouldn't that add a little bit more, not say spice, but a little bit more incentive with teams that's looking to pay Brandon Ingram? If Brandon Ingram was shooting 30, I know this might not be the case, but if he can get it up to, let's say he was shooting the 3-point ball, knocking down more threes, getting up more 3-point shots per game, and his percentage also rose, that would definitely make him more favorable in terms of the money. I don't think it gets him the $50 million this year. Who knows in the future when things starts elevating up? We talked about this on the show. We also hear people like Bobby Marks talking about the implications of what this new deal that the NBA has worked out for next year and the year before, and how it's going to incrementally raise the cap. And he was talking anywhere between 30 to 40% over the next several years, over the next couple of years. So it's definitely going to have an impact. Right now, not so much, but I definitely think that with Ingram shooting the 3-pointer more and hitting the three, having that percentage goes up, that it does make him maybe a little bit more attractive to to teams that's known as seeing that Brandon Ingram is shooting the 3-point ball, not only more, but at an efficient clip. Now, Murray and Jones have the potential to be one of the NBA's best defensive backcourts. Their ability to force turnovers could make the lineup dangerous in transition. Green will push the group to run some more. This lineup could encounter problems with the games when the games slow down. This is not a group built to take advantage of Williams' drive and kick talents. That's portion of it's true. We know that you need to have 3-point shooters around Zion Williamson. Indeed, that would be like Trey Murphy, and Jordan Hawkins, but this is a pretty damn good 5. With Daniel Tice is a hustler and he's a smart player. He also shoots the 3-pointer ball, believe it or not. He shoots it at I think it was what I said, 36% or something like that, 37%. So he does hit the 3-point ball too. So might be interesting to see how that works, man. Daniel Tice is the less talked about person right there, but man, he runs the floor pretty well. He's smart and the dude can play. So, and plus they got him for a steal. But anyway, let's move on to the next thing. The bench. Jose Alvarado, CJ McCollum, Trey Murphy, Yves Missi. The Pelicans' excellent bench unit last season was defensively orientated. Dyson Daniels, Najee Marshall were big, bothersome point of attack defenders, and Larry Nance brought smarts and toughness on the floor at the backup position. Yeah, a lot has changed, hasn't it, fam? Over 1 year, Dyson's traded to Atlanta in a deal that brought us DeJounte Murray, also Larry Nance, and then Najee left in free agency to rival Dallas to help them out. So things have changed, right? The bench unit in 24-25 could have a much different look. It'll be definitely offensive orientated. We're going to have an offensive kick off the bench. That's no doubt about it. McCollum and Murphy ranked first and second on the Pelicans in 3-pointers made in each of the past 2 seasons. It's possible the Pelicans could put one of them into the starting lineup in Jones' place, but that means Murray need to guard the other team's best perimeter player most nights. That puts a lot on his plate, and the Pelicans are already asking him to score, distribute, and rebound. That's something that DeJounte Murray is doing already. So he's not going to do any more than what we seen him do with San Antonio or with Atlanta when he played off ball in the games where Trey was there. And when the games Trey weren't there, he was the guy facilitating, playing defense, and he loves it. He loves that role. Missi's name is written here in pencil. The number 21 overall pick in June has athleticism to hang in the NBA, but he's inexperienced. It's possible Williamson is the Pelicans' most used backup center next season. I hope not. Green could deploy a lineup of Murray, Jones, Murphy, Ingram, and Williamson, where every Pelican player on the floor between 6'5" and 6'10". Not trading Ingram before the start of the season will force Green to make tough decisions. Unless Green is willing to start Williamson at center, the 2 Jones, McCollum, and Murphy are going to have to come off the bench. And I would say no to putting Zion Williamson at the center position. Why? Because, like I said, we want to have Zion for as long as we can have him. He needs to be, we need to be smart on how we use Zion Williamson. Remember last year, they just beat the hell out of Zion Williamson, to be honest with you. They did. The players, the referees didn't call the games like they were supposed to. Will we see a replay of that in the upcoming year? I know we don't usually talk about that till the games are played, but how will Zion Williamson be officiated in 24-25? Would it be like last year when he was hitting the ground hard and getting knocked down, stuff like that? How would it be officiated? Because that'll be a big part of that as well. I wouldn't want to put a 6'6" Zion Williamson up against any 7-footer or 6'10" guy, as a center. Absolutely not. Now, Hawkins, this is the deep bench. Hawkins, Matt Ryan, Jeremiah Robinson Earl, and Carlo Mekovic. Hawkins had 2 30-point games as a rookie. His accurate and quick trigger outside the shot could be useful on the roster, but he has to show he can possibly affect the game in other ways. Alvarado won the backup guard minutes over Hawkins during the stretch of run last year because of the gap between them defensively. A possible Mekovic, a second-round pick in 2022, could challenge for the same minutes at backup center. He had a 25-point game in Summer League, performance in which he was a lob threat who also demonstrated ability to step out on the perimeter and make jumpers. Ryan gave the Pelicans good minutes as a wing shooter at the start of last season before an elbow injury sidelined him for nearly 3 months. Green has tended to favor defense over offense, but if he decides to go all in on more shooting-heavy lineups next season, Ryan could have an expanded role. If he likes to lean on his veterans, Matt Ryan will be there. Also, Jeremiah Robinson, Earl, stuff like that. Be interesting to see how Willie Green, like I said, Jason Daniels, Najee Marshall, and Larry Nance are not here anymore. So he's going to have to get used to playing these routes. As I was saying about Willie Green changing. So how do you, I know you guys like the lineup. We talked very often about Murray, Jones, Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, and Daniel Tice. This seems like a very solid unit, but the writer does make a point about 3-point shooting. We know Herb Jones is shooting the ball a lot better. We know DeJounte Murray is a decent 3-point shooter, could improve. Brandon Ingram doesn't shoot enough of them. Zion Williamson doesn't shoot them at all. And Daniel Tice does shoot them and show them at a lower volume. So where would the 3-point shooting come from? That's the question that we've asked before. My dog DC asked that question to show that Lex. So I like that starting 5 right there with Herb and Murray, because that defensive backcourt will be off the chain. But, will Brandon Ingram take more of a bench role? And for them to put perhaps a Trey in there and move. I mean, that's the tough questions or the issues we have to deal with this. But these are great problems to have if you're Pelicans, because we have some talent here. We just have to figure out how to mix and match these guys to make it make sense. All right, that'll be the end of the Pelican Postgame Report, Flash Report. I just wanted to stop by and just holler at you guys. Tell me what you think about some of the topics that we covered in this episode of the Flash Report. Please feel free to smash upon a like button, hit the subscribe button, and share. Sharing is caring. Feel free to share the show on your social media feeds. We'll be back later on to talk more Pelicans. Much love. Go Pels.
Subscribe now and stay up to date for all things New Orleans Pelicans.